CIG have addressed the drama and criticism of Star Citizen's recent resource drive event and freight elevators in Alpha 4.2.1, admitting they dropped the ball, explaining what happened, and laying out plans to address the issues, as well as explaining what's going on with Alpha 4.3.0. They've also had a bit of a stealth announcement as part of Inside Star Citizen, with a big potential improvement coming to getting ships in-game without so much FOMO for spending real money to get a ship early, or at least not having to wait so long to get them in-game with in-game money. It's ironic as well that Alpha 4.3.0 was going to be pushed to live last night, but was paused due to a critical error. Alpha 4.3 may be live by the time you see this. CIG are sort of trying to work through a PTU fix before pushing that to live. They don't want 4.3.0 to be in a more broken state than 4.2.1 was. So, in Inside Star Citizen Alpha 4.3 patch report, Jared, Disco Lando, said, let's talk about the elevator in the room. They're extending the Race for Stanton event through the 4.3.0 patch, and are going to be fixing freight elevators more. They're still not fully fixed, but they're going to be addressing them even more. Freight elevators previously had been used mostly in a sort of single-player, short-term, smaller environment like personal hangars, and normally just with one user. That would be then sort of stowing items, getting items out, and a new elevator would present it to yourself once you came back to your hangar. They could load that in and out. Bam, fresh new elevator. These worked better in hangars than at outposts. Outposts typically accruing more issues the longer that they were left to run on a server or be streamed in. There was different sort of bits behind them that were causing issues. And issues range with these elevators from not operating at all to making all of your cargo on the elevator vanish. Some of these issues tie into other things like LTP, long-term persistence, and they're going to have a Star Citizen Live on long-term persistence and server meshing and stuff like that in the future. They had already begun a directed repair initiative on freight elevators months ago. It's just not complete yet. Super obviously, Jared said. As with transit as well, they're trying to fix underlying issues, and this takes time. They don't want to just do a little bodge fix for it, not addressing the issues, which are going to constantly be there. They want to get rid of them. In the case for Race for Stanton for 4.2.1, Jared said,
so last month, what happened with Race for Stanton? Well, sometimes changing how we use old features can be just as painful as adding a bunch of new ones. With a higher concurrency in daily active users than any patch this year, large numbers of players were driven from their private freight elevators in their personal hangars to the more troublesome ones out in the PU.
Issues grew and compounded, and they became unavoidable for many. Even if an issue was rare, sometimes taking hundreds or thousands of usages of an elevator to occur, eventually a game-breaking bug would occur and break the elevator until like a server restart. Often it's multiple bugs or different bugs presenting similar issues that are causing this, like they used to have with 30k issues, that sort of stuff. It was actually lots of different bugs causing disconnects. Root causes for over 44 issues have been found for freight elevators. 20 of them are blocking or critical issues, but they were only diagnosed due to thousands of players playing and reporting in the 4.2.1 live build. When fixing and diagnosing some of the issues, it sometimes reveals different or new bugs as well. CIG admits that they dropped the ball, and I'm really glad they did this because it was something that they should just go, yeah, hands up, kind of part of the alpha development of the game, but not intended.
But this is a good thing, yeah? We did all this intentionally to force progress so we can finally fix freight elevators like we did 30k and are still doing with transit? No. Now, while the project will definitely benefit from what happened long-term with all the fixes and hardening that's been going in and that will continue to go in throughout Alpha 4.3 and beyond, the answer to what really happened isn't particularly exciting or salacious or any different than what I imagine most of you already suspected. We knew there'd be issues like there have been, but we underestimated how they'd compound on top of one another at higher stresses.
They are pushing forward, fixing this, and are right back to making this the most compelling year for gameplay yet. For each backstep, they genuinely feel like they're taking more steps forwards. They are going to be improving existing experiences and features along the way as well. The new Onyx facilities are spread out over multiple patches, the engineering and research wings in 4.3, with the expectation of the third and final wing opening in the September patch 4.3.1. They hope that players will continue to help them address issues. I personally thought that was a great statement from Jared from Disco and CIG. The rest of the Inside Star Citizen was the patch report for 4.3. Now, a lot of the stuff we already know, but I'll quickly go over it because there is something in there that's pretty big. Dynamic Snow is similar to Dynamic Rain. Bam, Dynamic Snow is in 4.3. There's some new armor, some light sniper armor, different variants. There's the Volt Zenith sniper rifle, though it's more of a marksman rifle. It's very, very cool. Pew, 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 pew. Although if you overheat it, then it can't fire for a while. The hangar respawns. They've made a return in 4.3, so bam, you spawn there rather than at your hab. They mentioned spawning of ground vehicles in freight elevators, but that's still being worked on. That will be coming in the future. There's new special ships at Wickelos, and, so this is the bigger thing, many of the most recent ship releases have been added to ship shops. They also said, well, let me check Jared on so you can hear it from the horse's mouth.
What about the various ship shops in the verse? Where's my Golem, the Fortune, the Guardians? Well, in Alpha 4.3, inventories are getting updated with many of the most recent ships that have been released. What this means is, while you can still pledge for ships to support the continuing development of Star Citizen, and you can still work for those fancy component variants of many with Wicklow, you should also be able to pursue the base versions of newer vehicles for AUEC, and in a more reasonable timetable from now on. It's our way of saying, yeah, we'll be better at this going forward. It was Tyler Wickens' fault.
So yeah, there was no time frame on that other than quicker than before. So that could be within 3 to 0 months after a ship is released, right? They may still very well want an exclusivity period because that helps with marketing and sales. They want you to be able to pledge in the store. They want to encourage players to do that, but they don't want you to be prevented from using a ship for a long period of time. Really, really like that statement as well. Let's see what actually tangibly happens over the next few releases. They've been tuning fighter archetypes since May, and 4.3 tweaks light fighters this time, making them more light fightery. There's a new light fighter, the Kruger L21 Wolf as well. We've done a video on that. Go check that out. There's Onyx facilities. So this is their main draw of the event. There are massive locations, 120 of them, 10 on each of the moons of Stanton, and they're just huge sandbox activities, places for missions and gameplay and looting. CIG don't want to talk too much about them. They kind of want you to go there and explore them yourselves. They're excited for what's come for the rest of the year as well. Some of this is apparently going to be the best content that they've released, so stay tuned. Also, it's the run-up to CitizenCon. The Star Citizen, inside Star Citizen spaceship, the only constant, is being used for CitizenCon filming for the next 8 weeks, which goes along with our assumption that a huge portion of the CitizenCon live stream is going to be pre-recorded, and rightly so. And if you want to learn any more about CitizenCon and all that sort of jazz, check out our videos on that. I believe, potentially at time of recording, there will be a CitizenCon expectations video up. If not, it'll be up pretty soon. I'm really interested to know what you think. Are you excited for potentially more ships being in-game more quickly in in-game shops? Or do you think, nah, CIG are still going to hold these ships back for a while because they want exclusivity on them to sell more of them for real money? Did you sympathize and sort of agree with their statement? Did you go, yeah, okay, that's reasonable, them saying we dropped the ball with freight elevators, but they're fixing them? It's kind of expected of an alpha, but they didn't expect it to be quite so broken. Do you trust CIG to have Star Citizen in a relatively good place or a better place for playability by the end of the year? Whatever your thoughts are, check in the comments below. Something else that you should do is click the links below to NordVPN. Get yourself some NordVPN discount for better accessibility, security, and privacy on the internet. It's pretty inexpensive. I use NordVPN. I think it's an essential tool on the interwebs. I love you, NordVPN. I love you too, BoredGamer. Perfect. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and we're giving away an RSI Meteor, that new medium fighter with lifetime insurance and a gameplay package for Star Citizen. Everything you need to play with a cool fighter and pew-pew some fools. just comment on any of our videos made during this month to be in for a chance of winning that. Something else that you might like to do is like, share, subscribe to our videos. There's a join button underneath as well. There's Patreon. You give us a little bit of money each month and it helps out the channel immensely. Occasionally we have some exclusive videos. Come to my Discord, discord.gg/BoredGamer. Also, you should comment on all the videos, not just because of the giveaway, but also because you can give me feedback. And I want to say a massive thank you to the people that have supported the channel via any medium, but genuinely, you guys that go the extra mile to use that join button or Patreon, it is genuinely so appreciated. Thank you so much.